Hey guys, Furum here, and before the video starts, I would just like to say I will be streaming tomorrow, Saturday, June 30th at 10 AM Central Standard Time, or 4:50 PM in the UK. Hope to see you there. In this video, I will be showing you the Icona Vulcano at rank 1679 for the second time, and I thank Gaurav Sawant for recording these races, because I unfortunately do not have the car. So, the tuning is 5504, in Pro Kits we have 5055, that's the same tuning as last time, however the Elite tuning is different. This time it is 1860. In the previous video, there was a bit of a problem with the car drifting quite badly, so Gaurav decided to tune up the handling in Elite tuning and see if it makes a difference. And I do think, while the car still drifts quite badly, it did indeed make a difference. So the first race takes place on Munich against 3 Apollo Intensa Emozions. So this car at this rank, the Icona, goes approximately 304 or 305 miles per hour, so only just slightly slower than the Sinar 1 and Aeronair Hystera GT around this rank. Pretty good speed for its rank, and approximately the same as the new McLaren X2 at rank 1679. If you have not watched my video yet on how to win the McLaren X2, I would greatly recommend you do that because I give some helpful tips as well as some tuning information. The 1679 tune for that car is 10012, and it goes approximately 105 or so miles per hour. So even though the drifting on this car is better than what it was with the previous Elite tuning, it is still not especially great, and thus Gaurav cannot get around the turn all that well. However, it was not a problem because the Apollos wrecked on the trains and came in behind. So Gaurav beat a 1696 Apollo as well as a 1711 one, and somehow an unboosted Lycan beat the double boosted Apollo at 1711. I'm not exactly sure how that happened, but it probably had something to do with the trains, which are the great equalizers. So this race is a pretty good example of how even though every other car in the race may be faster than you, and even if you wreck at the beginning, sometimes you can still catch up to them. Yeah, even though we are in 5th place right now, not all hope is actually lost, and you will see what I mean. So this car has not the greatest acceleration either. Even though drivetrain and exhaust are completely pro'd out, acceleration is completely maxed out, and while acceleration isn't all the way up in Elite tuning, that would make the rank too high and probably not do much for the acceleration. So, we are now into 4th position because one of the Apollos ahead of us wrecked. So 1 down, 3 to go. As you can see here, even though the Icona's drifting is definitely wide, when you drift punch it's manageable around the turns. We have gone into now 3rd position, and now we are moving up into 2nd position, because one of the Apollos failed on the flat spin back there. So yes, if you get in last place early on in a race, do not just leave right away, stay in the race, and as you can see, in this race, the other cars can make mistakes and stuff, and you can come in a much better position and probably not lose as many points, or maybe even gain some points that you would not even had the chance for had you just left the race early on. It's always better to wait till the end to see how it plays out. So a 1741 Apollo beat the Icona, but we did beat a 1751, a 1698, and a 1695 Apollo. All those were higher ranked, and even though they just made one mistake, they still got beat by an inferior car. That is one thing about the high-speed races around this rank. If you're in a very fast and powerful car, such as the Apollo, and you make a mistake, up at higher ranks, there is less of a chance that you will actually be able to catch up to those ahead of you, because obviously you will get around the track faster than if you're in a lower ranked car, and thus you will have less time to catch up, even if your speed difference is the same as those of lower ranked cars. I explained this in a previous video too, and I think it was a little bit confusing, so I decided to explain it again. So back there we passed the MP48, and the Apollo that was ahead of us wrecked on something, I don't quite know what, because where he wrecked, there didn't seem to be anything that he should wreck on. So right here he catches up again, but then wrecks again, probably on that overhang where you go down back there. I have wrecked there in fast cars many times, and so if I'm in a fast car like the Apollo, for example, I just go to the left, pick up the blue bottle, and don't even worry about dropping down in that section. So at this point, you would think that the Apollo wouldn't really have any chance of catching up since it is the 2nd lap, and he's not all that much faster than the Icona. However, the final turn is a bit of a problem for this car, thus allowing the Apollo to catch up actually very close before the final turns, which we actually make it around and then finish just ahead of the Apollo. Let's see how high he was. So his rank was 1701, and there was pretty much nothing else in the race. Little side note, for those of you confused about why I'm saying we, even though it's somebody else driving, I explained this in previous videos where somebody else is driving, it's confusing to always have to say the other person's name, and so I usually just say we to make it flow better. I hope you guys understand. Just remember, all these races were recorded by Gaurav Sawant. I take no credit for any of them. So in this race on London, we are facing a 1719 Vulcan as well as a 1685 Apollo. Vulcans are quite rare nowadays because most of the people that had the Vulcan were able to get the Apollo, but you will still see them occasionally. And if you watch my videos about the 1747 Vulcan, which is Dr. Hillusion's tune, you will see that it is definitely not dead yet at all, especially at 100% risk. Oh, and speaking of Dr. Hillusion, he actually uploaded a video earlier today showing how you can still get to champion in the Camaro. He has not uploaded any multiplayer videos for months now, so please guys, go show him some support. So because the Vulcan wrecked around the turn back there, and this was a one-lap race, we are managing to beat him. So the Apollo that beat us was rank 1685, and we beat the 1719 Vulcan. So I'm sure you see by now in the video that the Icona does have good speed, but because of its bad acceleration and drifting, it relies quite a bit on other cars making mistakes to actually be able to beat them. But if they do make one mistake, this car can beat them most of the time. Now for quite a long race on Area 51 against 3 Apollo IEs. So we will have to see how this car does against them in this kind of situation. So because they start up quicker and are faster, they usually just get ahead and stay ahead. And that is basically what you will see happen in most cars that do not accelerate faster than the Apollo around this rank. However, since the McLaren X2 does in fact start up faster than the Apollo around this rank, I believe at least by a little bit, it should be able to knock down some Apollos at the beginning, which I believe if you are winning the X2 multiplayer tuned, knocking down Apollos at the beginning of races is one of the best things you can probably do. I will probably be winning it at a rank of 1679 because I do have enough engines for that. Again, that's 10-0, 10-2, and it's definitely one of the best multiplayer cars around this rank, just not better than the Apollo. The X2 is only better than the Apollo at Max Pro. So we are coming into lap 2 now, with the 4th place Apollo quite far behind, and the 2nd place one, well, not too far ahead. And I do believe we are catching up to him slightly. Then unfortunately, the car does a half barrel roll, causing the Icona to wreck. Thankfully, that other Apollo was far enough back that he is not like right on our tail or anything. However, he may be a little bit of a problem now, and we've lost the chance to catch up to the 2nd Apollo. So basically, to sum this car up, its advantages are its pretty good nitro efficiency and its pretty good top speed as well, and its disadvantages are its drifting and acceleration, and its looks. I personally think this is one of the ugliest cars in the game. Feel free to disagree with me on that, but yeah, I just think these backlights are horrendous. And the front looks like the front of a Lexus LFA, which I personally do not like the looks of either. Oh gosh, I am so going to get roasted in the comments. So the Apollo behind us wrecks there, presumably on the barrel roll, and thus we will be coming in 3rd position. Or the other possibility is that the Apollo skidded. That may also be the reason for that race on Venice that we had earlier, where we went from 5th to 2nd. The Apollo's probably skidded some. So here we got beat by 2 higher ranked ones, but did beat a 1684 one, which is my tune. That race was not such a great showing for it, was it? Just shows again that the driver matters just as much as the car. If you have a really good car and a driver who cannot drive it properly, well, it's not going to serve him well. However, if you have a really good driver that is driving a mediocre or at least inferior car, he can pull out wins against some of the superior cars. So I guess my general review of this car is that it is a fairly good car for multiplayer around this rank. Definitely not the best, and it does have quite a few disadvantages that you have to overcome, but its speed is there. So if you have no other fast or good multiplayer cars around this rank, this is a very obscure car, but it is one that you definitely should save up blueprints for. I believe it's 45 rare blueprints or something like that. I don't believe there has ever been an event or anything to get blueprints, and I don't believe its Enduro Double Down has ever come back. So it definitely might take a while to get this car, but Gaurav was able to do it. And before I forget to mention, yes, this car does have fake speed. It is really going about 305 miles per hour, like I said before. It has a fake speed multiplier of around 95% or something like that. And remember guys, fake speed is cosmetic. The car's rank is calculated based on its real speed. I have to say that's in every video with the car that has fake speed because some people just don't get it. Fake speed is 100% cosmetic, and with that, we finish this race in first place because the Apollo wrecked back there, possibly a skid, 1684 one, as well as a 1695 one. Thank you all for watching. Please like the video if you've enjoyed, and consider subscribing for more Asphalt 8 videos, and I will see you in my next video. Goodbye!